I'm Antoinette Essa. We interrupt your programming to bring you breaking news from Caroline County. Virginia State Police are bringing us a news conference to update us on the hot air balloon crash last night and search for the pilot and the 2 passengers. Now, it all happened at Meadow Event Park shortly before 8 o'clock Friday during the inaugural Mid-Atlantic Balloon Festival. CBS 6 has gathered video from our viewers and our staff of the burning balloon. Witnesses say they could hear the passengers screaming and then heard a loud explosion afterwards. So far, we haven't been told if the 3 people were in the balloon have been accounted for. We now go to
Virginia State Police Public Relations Director, and I'd like to provide you with an update on the ongoing search situation here in Caroline County. Just to give you the latest, because of the time that has transpired since the hot air balloon crashed Friday evening and the fact that we've not been able to make any contact with any of the 3 occupants that were in that hot air balloon, we are now transitioning from a rescue operation to a recovery operation at this time. I'm just going to start from the beginning and kind of walk through what we know at this point. It was shortly before 8 o'clock Friday night when 3 hot air balloons took the air from the Meadow Event Park in Caroline County and began heading north. And they had a pre-designated landing zone, which was a field off of Ruther Glen Road. 2 of the hot air balloons landed safely in that field. As the 3rd balloon made its descent, it made contact with a live utility wire. That in turn sparked a fire with the hot air balloon. The fire spread quickly. The pilot of the hot air balloon, based on witness accounts, and the other pilots who were on the ground, began doing his various safety maneuvers and trying to manage the fire, taking the necessary steps to actually try to open up the top of the balloon, which is a standard procedure because the added heat and intensity of the fire will actually make the balloon rise faster. So he was taking every effort he could to manage the situation and extinguish the fire. According to witnesses, they say they heard an explosion, and it was after that that the basket and the balloon actually separated. We are still in the process of, and we spent all night searching for the wreckage of the basket, the balloon. It was just before midnight that we were able to locate one of the occupants, one of the 3 occupants in the balloon. The remains have been transported to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Richmond for positive identification. We do know who was on the 2 passengers and the pilot. We have been in contact with their families overnight and through this morning, but at this time we are not going to identify which one of those occupants has been recovered. So at this time we are still searching for the 2 others that were in the balloon, as well as the wreckage sites of the basket and the balloon itself. We've also found kind of a debris field. We found different items that would have been inside the hot air balloon. This is very, very helpful for us in our search efforts because now we kind of have an area of concentration. Since daybreak, we brought in a large contingent of state police troopers. They're part of our tactical field force, and they are especially trained in doing grid searches. And this means these guys walk a selected section by foot. It's a very meticulous process, and they will actually fan out in the area of the debris field and concentrate on that area to make sure that nothing is overlooked, and that, of course, our goal right now is to locate the other 2 occupants of the hot air balloon. The search efforts continued overnight. We've had a tremendous outpouring of support from the Caroline County Sheriff's Office, the Caroline County Fire and Rescue, Henrico County Police Department has been assisting us both with aviation support and ground support. This morning we also have had several search and rescue canine teams and search and rescue teams arrive as well from around the state. And we're coordinating them through the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, which is standard for a search operation of this magnitude. And now that we have daybreak, we're hoping that this will definitely expedite the search process. And we will continue to keep searching until we find the other 2 occupants. The investigation into the incident, of course, is ongoing. They had 2 inspectors from the FAA here overnight. We've also been in contact with the NTSB, as this is considered a commercial aircraft. So they will be conducting their own investigations as well. We'd also like to thank the public. Last night when we put the number out and asked people to contact us with information, those who may have seen the balloon in distress, We've had a tremendous number of calls. In fact, they're still coming in, and we appreciate all those phone calls. They've definitely helped us in concentrating our search efforts and focusing on where exactly these wreckage sites might be for the basket and possibly for the balloon as well. I'm also going to turn it over now to Greg with the Meadow Event Park. He's going to provide you with a few details about the event of the festival.
I'm Greg Hicks with the Meadow Event Park. I'm VP of Communications. First off, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and the families. The Meadow Event Park staff is devastated by this. It's just a shocking situation for everyone. So we certainly appreciate all the efforts by the various law enforcement, emergency services, and rescue operations. So at this time, that's our statement, and so we're just monitoring the situation.
We'll open up the floor for a few questions. Larry?
Corinne, can you say whether the body that was recovered was the pilot or whether it was one of the passengers or what gender the person was?
At this time, we're not identifying that. We're waiting for the medical examiner to make that positive identification.
Do you know what the gender was of the 3 people?
We do, yes. We're just not going to release that right now until we get that positive identification from the medical examiner.
Can you tell us who owns the balloon?
I don't have the name of the company. The name of the company?
No. Of the balloon?
Yeah, the balloon company.
No.
Yeah. We have that information. We're working with the company, but I don't have the name with me right now. So we can get that to you maybe later. Okay. Yes?
Was there a report of somebody jumping from the balloon? Is that the person you found?
We have had reports. We've also seen video that people have provided us that does appear to have 2 individuals who possibly leaped or possibly fell from the basket. And at this point, we don't know for certain if that would be the end. Until we can find the rest of the wreckage and the other 2 occupants, we'll be able to piece together exactly those circumstances.
So you're not able to say that the remains you recovered was somebody who jumped from the gondola?
We don't know that for a fact. We haven't been able to find the basket itself at this point. Once we find the basket, and then we can hopefully find those other 2 occupants, we'll be able to hopefully piece together exactly what transpired once the balloon caught fire.
And the report you had was that 2 people may have jumped from the gondola?
That's what we've had witnesses tell us. They may have seen 2 jump, or possibly somehow they got out. Whether they leapt on their own, or maybe the basket and the condition of it, they fell. We don't know that for certain. But we've also seen video that people have provided us that it does have that appearance as 2 people exited in whatever fashion the basket.
How far from the accident site was this person found?
Well, again, we don't have a wreckage site.
Right, from where
So, from the, you know, I don't really know. I know where the remains were found is a very heavily wooded area. We secured it overnight. Somebody that contacted us and notified us that they think they might have seen something, and that's what led us to that particular area. I don't know. We'll try to get more information for you on that. Yes?
Are you able to determine, maybe you can work with like the power to find out like exactly where, what part of the line that the balloon came in contact with? You know, but just like I said, there's a power outage.
I know we've been in contact with the utility company. As far as who exactly owns that line, I don't have that information. So.
Any additional localities coming in? You mentioned yesterday, you know, from Henrico, Caroline County, any other localities?
At this point, no. We've been able to bring in a lot more resources today, part of our tactical field force. We brought in troopers from around the state to assist with the grid searches. So if we need additional resources, of course, we'll bring them in, and we will continue to stay here until the other 2 occupants are found, and we'll continue to replenish the ranks as we need to. So.
Do you know if the pilot, was he a professional taking people up for rides, or was he like a hobbyist that was just with friends? Like,
from what I understand, in order to fly these, you have to be an actual certified pilot. I will be reaching out to the FAA to see if maybe they can come and address that area of certification and so forth. That's not an expertise that I have, so I really can't speak to that. But from what some of the discussions I've heard, that you do actually have to have a certification. It is considered a commercial aircraft, and that's why the FAA and the NTSB were notified and are conducting their investigations. All right. I said we will continue to keep you guys updated as new information comes about. I'm here for the duration. So if there's new information, if I don't have your email address, let me know so I can, that's the easiest way for me to get to everybody as you guys kind of move around. We do have a command post established. I know several of you guys have been out there. As you can tell, there's not any parking out there. It's very limited. Obviously, the parking's reserved for our vehicles. And it's a rural road, no shoulders and so forth. So we're not inviting a lot of media out there. The searching that's going on today, you won't see a lot of it because it's going to be into the wooded area. It's very heavily wooded, and a lot of the areas that we're concentrating on are not near a roadway. So I know that doesn't help you all for picture and video purposes, but just to let you know, the concentration of it is not going to be visible from a roadway. So.
Noon to 2? Noon or 2? 3?
Well, it's 8 now. Probably noon. I know it's a little different on Saturdays because you guys don't have your usual noon shows and so forth. But like I said, I would like if hopefully we have new updates before then, we'll definitely come out and let you know. But does noon work for you guys? We'll just meet up here back at noon. Does that kind of work for everybody? And then I'll let you know where we're at and kind of what we're doing. That way everyone's here. They all heard at the same time. So we'll meet here back at noon and go from there.
How many searchers do you have on these grid searches?
I'm not sure how many tactical
You've
field
been
force.
watching and listening to a press conference from Virginia State Police. Just to recap what we know so far, shortly before 8 o'clock, 3 balloons took off from the Meadow Event Park traveling north to a predestined landing zone. 2 landed, 1 did not. It struck a power line and caught fire. Witnesses say they heard 2 explosions from the balloon. At one point, the gondola separated and the balloon separated, so they're looking for 2 crash sites. It happened Friday evening, and Virginia State Police were not able to make contact with the people, the passengers in the balloon, and now they have switched from a rescue to recovery operation. Of course, again, that happened around 8 o'clock, so it was dark and in a rural area and very heavily wooded area, as you heard Corinne Geller said. Now, before midnight, a passenger in the balloon was the remains of the passenger was located and has been transported to the medical examiner's office. They are still searching for the other 2 people in the balloon. Of course, they're not releasing the name of the remains found. A large contingent of the state police force, as you heard Corinne said, have been searching that area by foot to look for the debris field, which is in a rural and heavily wooded area. And of course, we will continue to monitor the situation in Caroline County and bring you updates. And again, as you heard her say, maybe around 12 o'clock, we will bring you an update. Of course, you can just download our breaking news app for your smartphone and your smartphone or your tablet and get more information from us. Again, thank you for joining us for this press conference from Virginia State Police. Back to programming.